So today I'm going to try a new product and I'm going to review it as I'm going through the process. And I'm going to try out this Ultra air cooler thing, and it's also marketed as Arctic Air Ultra. It's the second version, not the first version, so that they are different. And I hear the second version is much better. And if you look at, I had a previous air conditioner, do-it-yourself air conditioner. You can look at it up there. And that actually worked really well, and I liked it. The only problem is I don't have the same sink setup in here as I used to, so I can't use that anymore. So that one I tested using a meat thermometer, which, you know, it worked, but this time I actually have a digital thermometer I'm going to use this time. So I'm going to give this a shot, and I'm going to test out this air cooler, and then I'll let you guys know what I think of it. So opening up the box, it's not a real big box. That's the key. I can't have any big devices in here. So it looks like this is it. You can see it's not real big. There's a top where you could add water in it. Some vents. It looks like the vents are semi-adjustable up and down, which is good. Give it a shot. Alright, so the direction says to take this filter out and fill it up with water to help keep things cool, and you could even freeze it, put it in the freezer for a while too. But I'm going to test it in a couple of different modes to see how that goes. And it comes with this, it's USB powered, which is nice because my ports have USB ports. I'd rather not use a 120 socket if I could avoid it, just because it's a little bit bigger, but it's not that big of a deal even if you had to. Alright, so first thing I want to do is I just want to establish what the current temperature is and normalize everything. So right now the thermometer is reading around where this cooler is, 80 degrees. You could see it. 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and I want to start running it with just the fan first, just to see running just the fan what changes that will do. All right, I got everything plugged in, and from the time that I plugged everything in, the temperature has gone down to 79.2, so that is our new reference. Let me turn this on, and the first is on the high fan, and just with the fan on, it actually went to 80.3, 81 degrees with the fan on. Oddly enough, it went higher, but I doubt that's accurate. That the fan actually made things hotter. I guess it's possible too. It maybe just pushed around some of the hot air that was back there. So now it's 82.2, but to me it feels cooler because the fan is blowing on my skin. So 82.1. That's with the high fan. And let's see with the low fan if that changes at all. .2, so it's about the same with the low fan mode. But the high fan actually, definitely feels nicer on my skin. But it probably blew some more hot air around. Let's turn that off. And now I'm going to test it with some water. Okay, so I soaked this in water. It's just a filter, not a filter, but a absorbent material that we'll use to collect water and cool down the air. Let's put it in. And also you could put water in here, but since we're running such a short test, I'm not going to need to put water. I just want to see the temperature change. Alright, so right now it is 81.2, and then I'm going to put it to the fan. Put it in front of the, see if it changes at all. 81.3. It definitely feels cooler. I know it's not registering on the thermometer, but it definitely feels cooler. And of course, just having a fan, circulate air in your face, it's gonna feel cooler in general. But there's no measurable difference on the thermometer. At 81.4. Let's turn this off and see. 81.3. So there's actually no real measurable difference in temperature using the gauge, but I mean, having wind blowing your face, it definitely helps, and it's nothing more than just a fan. Let's try it again. Just maybe give the water some time to saturate. I don't know. Well, looks like right now my do-it-yourself air conditioner is working a lot better than this is. There was some measurable difference with the meat thermometer. If anything, it measures slightly worse, fractions of a degree worse. All right, so what I'm going to try to do next is I'm going to try to put ice cubes in this container, and hopefully that'll make things a little bit extra cooler. Okay, so I poured I got some cold water, ice cubes, and I poured some of that here to saturate it with some water that's a little bit colder. I'm doing it like that because I'm holding it a little weird because there's one piece that keeps falling out. Well, it looks like it's two now, and it doesn't really hold really well inside these chambers. So I guess you'll have to work a little bit to make sure it stays in. I got it backwards and then I flipped it around again. Fell out again. So that's one drawback with this device already, is that these things don't stay in as well as they could. So let's put put that in there, and then put some ice water. In there, and I'm gonna fill it up. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna let it run for a while, because I assume it's gonna take a little bit of time for the ice water to saturate. But I'll test it right now and then run it. So right now, outside of I'm holding the temperature sensor up here, and I'm reading 80.7. Let me put it in front of it. Let's see if we get it any difference. 80.6. Not really any difference. But I'm going to let this, 80.5, maybe it is going down, but I'm going to let it run for a little bit to see once the ice water saturates that absorbent thing, I don't know what to call it, that it won't get cooler and cooler. Alright, so I let it run for around 5 minutes, and we're back here to see if there's any difference. The normalized temperature is 81.3. Let's put it in front, see if it gets any better. With my hand in front of it, I mean, it does feel cooler, but it's not really registering. Oh, there it is. A little change right there. 80.8. Not a super difference. Yeah, that's about, I guess, just fractions of a degree's difference. Let me try turning it on the fan on a little bit lower. Maybe turning on the fan too high just doesn't give the cold water enough time to circulate. I don't know. So let me turn it down to the lowest setting, and maybe that's a little bit cooler. So we're at 80.6. No, that quickly went back up to 81.5, or 81.2. All right, 80. Anyways, not a big difference one way or another. Not a big difference from just the fan by itself. I guess as a fan, it's now 80.1. As a fan, it's actually a pretty decent fan, I guess, but it's not worth $30 for a fan. So I guess my do-it-yourself air conditioner works a lot better than this. So maybe I'll keep it, maybe I'll send it back, who knows. So I'm sitting here with this in front of me, and it feels cooler to my skin. And I feel like, it is working, but I can't really measure any difference. So it's really kind of odd. I don't understand it. Right now, thermometer's over here. It's 83.5. 83. So let's move it back. Yeah, it's just 83.6, so it's pretty much the same. Oh, now it's 82. .7. I don't know what to say. I mean, I feel like the thermometer is not registering a difference, and right now I'm thinking that I think it's because this is basically a swamp cooler, and it uses moisture to cool, and that moisture feels cooler on your skin than it actually would measure on a thermometer. So maybe it's more of a cooler feeling than an actual temperature drop, the way these things work with the moisture and blowing moist air as opposed to blowing around dry air. That's my theory, but honestly, this feels good, and it feels good enough that I'm not going to return it. I like it. I think it feels pretty good. Now, can I quantify some difference to prove to you guys that it's worth it? No, I can't do that, but I could just say that from just a pure feel point of view, I think it feels better.